Hello and welcome to Enchantment of Eternity's Top 10 Bobbie Draper Moments for the Expanse. So this video is part of a series of videos where I name my top 10 favorite moments from a character from the TV show The Expanse. In this video I am focusing on the character Bobbie Draper and naming my top 10 favorite moments involving her. So obviously spoiler warnings for up to the end of Season 3. So, Bobbie Draper was a unique character introduced in Season 2. He was quite a badass Samoan in heritage, but a Martian through and through in the Martian army who ends up going through quite a journey, which leads her to ally with one of the leaders and their biggest enemy, the United Nations, and eventually leads her to ally with the Rocinante crew. So Bobbie Draper is quite an interesting character indeed. So let us jump into my top 10 favorite moments involving Bobbie Draper. Starting with number 10, Bobbie confronts Thorson's BS from Season 2, Episode 7. So Thorson was the intelligence officer who was interrogating her after the incident in which she lost all of her crew to the protomolecule hybrid, and he was trying to convince her that there's no such thing as a monster and everything's fine, and he wants her to go to Earth and take responsibility for an attack that she knows that she did not initiate. And she gets really pissed off and says, oh, and when Thorson tries to tell her a nice little story, so it's like, oh, you're supposed to tell me a nice story so I can buy this bullshit, which was a really nice moment, even though Thorson was the superior, so he did give her a nasty look and she apologized. But it still shows that Bobbie was really uncomfortable with putting up with this bullshit, and it was a link in the chain which will lead to some greater things which will be higher up on my list. So anyway, let's get into my number 9 favorite Bobbie Draper moments. Bobbie intimidates the tech from Season 2, Episode 13. So this is in the season finale where Bobbie Draper is trapped with Avasarala and Cotier on Jules Pierre Mal's ship, while all the goons that work for Mal are trying to kill them. Draper runs out to try to get to her power armor so she can save Avasarala and Cotier. And on the way, she meets a tech who threatens to stop her, but and to lock the door if she attacks him. But she mentions, like, if you do lock the door, I'm going to kill you. He's like, huh. And so they come to a deal where he'll just let her go as long as she doesn't hurt him, and she's okay with this. But then he's like, hey, do you want to just punch me in the face so it makes it look like I resist it? And she's like, yeah, sure. That was a great Draper moment. Absolutely loved it. It was good in levity, but also shows the kind of how intimidating she is, especially as a Martian Marine, and that he knew that he didn't stand a chance against her. Very interesting scene. Anyway, we'll get into my number 8 favorite Bobbie Draper moment, and that is Bobbie recalls the 7th man from Season 2, Episode 7. So this is when Bobbie is put under the drugs and interrogated by Thorson to recount the events of the attack that occurred on Ganymede, and where she finally realizes through the use of these drugs and that clears her memory that there was in fact a 7th man, someone who wasn't wearing a vac suit and who was attacking the UN soldiers, and the UN soldiers were not charging her position like she originally assumed, but were in fact running from this 7th man without a vaccine, who was in fact the protomolecule hybrid. So that was a very fascinating scene. It's when Bobbie starts to realize that things aren't what they appear to be, and she's more interested in the truth, which Thorson, who was interrogating her, and Martins, who was in charge of the interrogation, are certainly not interested in the truth, but she is. So it's a great character moment for her. So we get into my number 7 favorite Bobbie Draper moment, and that is Bobbie carries Avasarala aboard the Rocinante from Season 3, Episode 2. So this is after the UN ship tries to kill Avasarala, and Bobbie flies the racing pinnace the Razorback really fast, but in order to avoid being destroyed. But in flying so fast, Avasarala was unable to deal with the consequences, not being used to space travel. So she was near death, and the Rocinante came to the rescue, but they didn't know what they were getting into because they didn't know who was on board. So when Holden and his crew opened the airlock to find Avasarala there, really hurt and injured, and Bobbie Draper carrying her, that was a huge, shocking moment. But more than that, it shows how far Bobbie had come, because at first she thought the UN has the biggest enemy, but here she is, like, risking her life to save the life of one of the UN's highest officials, because she knows that they're actually on the right side, and they both want the same thing, and that is to avoid war, and basically to avoid the destruction of the human race, which these idiots like Aaron Wright are actually, and Jules Pierre Mal might actually cause. So she knows she's willing to give up past rivalries and in order to focus on that. And so it was just a great visual encapsulation of that. So we get into my number 6 favorite Bobbie Draper moment, and that is "Oops" from season 2, episode 13. So in this moment is again back to Jules Pierre Mal's yacht, where Bobbie Draper is trying to escape, and where she encounters a couple of Mal's goons who attack her. So she punches one of them and steals their weapon, but finds that the weapon is encoded to their specific DNA. So when she tries to use it, it doesn't work, and the goon is like, "Oops," and then she beats the crap out of them, and it goes, "Oops," which is funny because she doesn't even need the weapon to kick their ass. Again, showing off what a badass it is, and it was just a funny, great, badass Bobbie Draper moment, so I absolutely loved it. Anyway, getting into my number 5 favorite Bobbie Draper moment is Bobbie confronts the protomolecule hybrid from season 3, episode 6. So this is on Io, when they go to rescue Prax's daughter May and to take down Jules Pierre Mal. They find there is in fact a protomolecule hybrid on the loose, which these things are indestructible, invincible, but Bobbie Draper takes it on herself to distract it so the others can do what they need to do. So she takes it on herself, and this is a big cathartic moment for her because, of course, she had a lot of PTSD over the fact that the protomolecule hybrid killed her entire unit. So it was a big risk. It brought up a lot of feelings for her to confront it, but she moved past that and did what she needed to do in order for Holden to take down Jules Pierre Mal and for Amos and Prax to rescue May. And she ended up defeating the protomolecule hybrid after it was had her cornered on the ground and looked like she was going to kill her. So it was like all her worst nightmares, all her worst fears coming true, but she managed to move past it. So that was a great and really important moment for Bobbie Draper. So then we get into my number 4 favorite Bobbie Draper moment, and that is Bobbie talks the Martians down from season 3, episode 4. So this is when the Rocinante rescue a group of Martians from a doomed ship, and the Martians decide that they don't like the Rocinante. They think it's originally a Martian ship that they stole, so they take it upon themselves to try to take over the ship. And Bobbie Draper just casually walks on, not all concerned. When Naomi's beat up, they have a gun to her, they have a gun to Alex, they beat up Alex, and Bobbie Draper just casually walks in, and Holden's holding the gun to them. So it looks like it's a volatile situation where everything could explode, but she just casually walks on the bridge and says, "Hey, what's all the ruckus here?" And this is why I think this is a really great Bobbie Draper moment, because some of the other moments I mentioned earlier on the list, it's about how big of a badass she is. And don't get me wrong, I love that. It's a great characteristic of Bobbie Draper and how she's able to intimidate people and kick their asses. But here, she doesn't. It shows another side of her. Instead of attacking them, which one of the Marines points out that she could easily take them down, but she elects not to. Instead, she reasons with them and tries to relate to them with her own experiences, how she was like them, where she thought the UN and Rocinante were the enemy, but she realized that things were actually more complicated than that, and what she's trying to do is what's best for Mars, and she's able to talk them down and to relate to them on those terms and able to get them to surrender without any bloodshed. Because also in this scene there's a ticking clock, because as soon as Amos comes to the operations center, he's just going to kill everyone, no questions asked. So that was a ticking clock that the Martians weren't even aware of, but Holden and the others were aware of this, so Bobbie Draper managed to defuse the situation before any blood had to be shed. So that was a great moment. Anyway, getting into number 3, my third favorite Bobbie Draper moment, and that's Bobbie confronts Holden from season 3, episode 10. So this is the second half of season 3 when they're in the ring gate, and Holden apparently had blown up a UN ship. Of course, he was framed, but nobody else knows this, and they're assuming that he's a terrorist, he's a criminal. So Bobbie Draper is a part of a Martian Marine unit with orders to arrest him. Now, she knows Holden better from her experience with him, but she has to follow her own orders, which are to arrest him and take him in. So when they go into the weird alien station and Bobbie Draper and the Marines encounter her, again, she tries to talk Holden down. She tries to say, just come with us, we'll sort this all out. Of course, unbeknownst to her, Holden has a vital mission to accomplish, and so he can't let her slow him down, so he doesn't listen to her. And then she fires at him with the other Marines. So even though has a history with them, they help save Mars together, she knows that Holden isn't the bad guy, she still follows through with her orders, which maybe not be a good thing, but it's an interesting aspect of her. I think it makes it very interesting that she was willing to kill him because she thought that was the right thing to do at the time. Which, yeah, I just think is a great Bobbie Draper moment. Anyway, getting into my number 2 second favorite Bobbie Draper moment is Bobbie switches sides to Alex and Amos. Season 3, episode 13. So this is a few episodes later than the other one, the finale, where Bobbie Draper is starting to realize that maybe she is on the wrong side, because she has orders to stop Alex and Amos, who are broadcasting a statement from Anna that's trying to get all of the ships in the ring to turn off their engines, and the Martian leaders don't like this message. So again, she dutifully follows orders until she finally realizes that maybe she's on the wrong side. So instead, she attacks her own unit, or her own unit attacks her because she knows Alex and Amos, so she tries to hear him out, but her own unit attacks her, and she realizes that she's not on the right side, so she switches sides to the right side, and she gets injured in the process. And after the Martians are taken down, she helps Alex and Amos defend Anna and the broadcast to do the right thing. So that was a great moment again for Bobbie Draper, because she knows, again, it's reaffirming what happened in season 2, that she knows to do the right thing and not just to follow orders blindly. So next, we'll get to my number 1 favorite moment for Bobbie Draper, and that is Bobbie defects to the UN, season 2, episode 11. Now, it's kind of similar to my second favorite moment, but to me, this is more grand. This, I think, is by far the best Bobbie Draper moment. In fact, maybe one of my favorites, if not my favorite, from the entire show of the Expanse. Oh, not my favorite, but maybe my second favorite. It's one of my favorites from the entire show. It's an absolutely amazing moment where Bobbie realizes that she's being betrayed by her own people, by her own superior, Captain Martins, that they were involved in the proto-molecule experiment, so somewhat responsible for her crew, and she realizes that Avasarala, her enemy, is actually on the right side of things and trying to help her uncover the conspiracy. So after Avasarala just approaches her and says, maybe you should join me, Bobbie Draper takes it a step further and beats the crap out of her superior officer, which is like a death sentence basically, and gets him to admit that he was involved with the protomolecule, and grabs the evidence and immediately proceeds to casually escape the Martian compound until she's spotted, and she makes a run for it, and she runs to the UN side and gets there in time to ask for asylum. That was an absolutely amazing moment. It showed her strength in character. It showed her strength, physical strength, and it showed the type of person that she was no nonsense, and that she knew to do the right thing. In fact, it was a huge leap for her, even though she knew that Martins was a bad guy and the Martians were bad people, or her superior officers were involved in this conspiracy. She was still wise enough to not let her patriotism blind her to that fact, which many people would do, especially Marines like her. But she knew, again, this illustrates that she doesn't just blindly follow orders, that she's more concerned about doing the right thing, even though this meant she was seen as a traitor by her own people, by the people that she loves and knows. So it was a monumental moment, my favorite Bobbie Draper moment of The Expanse. So that is it for my top 10 favorite Bobbie Draper moments. I will be back in about a month to do another of these videos with the top 10 favorite moments from another character of The Expanse, so be sure to check that out. Also check out my channel, as I do many more videos on The Expanse, and I also cover many other shows like Star Trek, Game of Thrones, Lost, and more, so be sure to subscribe so you can keep up with all of that. And thanks a lot for watching.